Yeah, I think I definitely would like to see Randy and Cody go at it. I think that's definitely that's a possibility. They mentioned also Solo could might challenge Cody for the title at SummerSlam, and then you have Roman come back.
I could see that too.
I could see that happening, but Roman has to come back. Like I know his father passed away, but
Yeah,
he has to come back and save this company because and they mentioned the Rock. The Rock is still involved as well.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think they definitely got to have one of them come back, if not both of them. The AJ Styles feud, I didn't care for that. That was boring.
Right.
Was not a fan of that. I don't know what they want. I think right now Cody is stuck with the bloodline, you know,
Pretty much.
as part of his history forever. So Red said he'll be here very soon. Christian was good, yo. Have you seen the new Beverly Hills Cop? Because this is not a spoiler free review. Like I will be having spoilers in this review. You know what I'm saying? This
Oh,
is this is
Christian
not
was
one of those
Christian
spoiler
was
free
good.
reviews, and we're gonna be talking about this whole movie. So if you didn't see the movie, you might want to avoid the spoilers. You know,
Yeah, I have a lot. Yeah, I have plenty to say about this movie.
Reggie's on his way. He got caught up in some traffic. I will say that though, it's not the worst one, but there's some issues with it that I didn't care for.
Same.
Yeah, it's a main thing. It's a main thing in this movie that I noticed that I didn't care for, but it's not the worst one. I will say that because
Hmm.
Cop 3 was not good at all.
Oh God, that was just horrendous.
You know, yeah, man. And we're gonna be doing the trilogy. We're gonna discuss the trilogy on Reggie's channel.
Mm.
He's coming. We coming back tomorrow. He's coming back tomorrow. We doing Cuban Link 2. That's gonna be, I think, at midnight. We're doing that. You know what I mean? But yeah, he coming back tomorrow. But we doing the cop trilogy. Probably next week. I think we're doing that one or a week after. But I wanted to do
Mm.
the new one first,
Hmm.
and then we'll just go back and discuss the first three.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But definitely have some interesting things to say about this.
Yeah, same here.
What you
Cause
been what you been watching lately, Mike?
um, shoot, you know what? To be honest with you, as far as like movies, I just saw it was this like Indonesian film called Kill. I saw that. Um, what else? It was another um a Quiet Place Day One. I saw that. Yeah, I saw that one. And
Right.
tomorrow I might see Maxine. Yeah, so
Oh yeah, I heard
uh
about that one.
yeah. So I might see that tomorrow. And what else? Um it was a new movie with Sean Penn called Daddy O, which that was really good too.
Okay.
Yeah, I managed to see that.
Right. I saw him in another film called Asphalt City. Have you seen that?
No, but I kind of want to see it.
It was actually good. It was set in New York City, and he played like a paramedic. and he
Oh,
had
really?
like another he had like a younger like paramedic like assistant with him, and he was like teaching because he just started and he was teaching them the ropes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But they had to deal with some shit. It was basically like New York City during the summertime, and the different the different calls that they got, and they had to deal with
Right.
like pregnant mothers on drugs and
Mm-hmm.
how to revive the fetus, and it was like a lot of shit going on in that movie. But that was actually a
Right.
good movie, like a nice little independent film.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, I'm gonna
enjoyed
have
that
to.
one. That's on streaming right now. Actually, that's on
Is it?
streaming. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to sit
because
down and
it came
watch
out.
that
It
too.
came out. I want to say it came out in May. It came out like
Mm.
beginning of May on streaming. But you
Mm-hmm.
could tell they filmed it during the pandemic. But um, I've always liked Sean Penn. He's a great actor. He's done a lot of
Very.
great films and stuff. And yeah, that one was a different type of film for him because he was more like the elder statesman in that film. But
Right.
he was definitely like the star of the film.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was good. You should definitely check it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, Sean Penn, man,
Yeah.
like his filmography. Oh my lord, he's done all kinds of stuff. So,
Oh yeah.
like one of my favorite. Go
Mhm.
ahead.
Now I was saying Kristen is asking you a question: why some movies from the '50s are kind of ass, and what are these type of movies that are kind of ass?
From the 50s.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't even tell you what type of movies that were ass back then, because
Uh,
compared to now, anything from the 50s is golden,
right.
just about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't even I couldn't even tell you because back in the 50s you had Ma- uh, uh Marlon Brando and Humphrey
Mm-hmm.
Bogart and James Dean,
Mm-hmm.
all those cats back then were like heavyweights and shit.
Right.
But I couldn't even, to be honest, with you, I couldn't even name a bad movie from the 50s.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. I think the best movies from the '50s was Alfred Hitchcock. I think he had the best films. When you had films like Rope,
Uh
and
huh.
you had Dial M for Murder, Rear Window, Vertigo. I've
Hmm.
seen all those films. Like I was like on a Hitchcock binge last year, and all of those
Mm.
movies came out in the '50s during the
Hmm.
'50s, and those are like some of his best films. You know what I'm saying? The original Blob, that I
Yeah.
grew up on that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I'm talking about like the colored version of the Blob, because they had the black and white version, the
Right.
colored version. Like back when Fox 5 used to show like afternoon movies on like Saturdays.
Right.
Back in the day, like I grew up. That was like one of my first horror films. Like watching that as a kid.
Hmm.
And then like when they rebooted that, I want to say it was like what, '87 they rebooted that. I remember
Yeah.
going to see the reboot version for that as well. But there's classics in the '50s. You just gotta find them. You gotta know what movies to look for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not all the movies in the '50s were ass because they were in the '50s.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
You
Like
know,
every,
because you got '80s. This was ass.
oh God, the 80s. Oh God.
You know what I'm saying? So it it's not it's not about the decade. It's like this. They will class. I thought Rear Window was phenomenal, and Dollar M for Murder.
I need to
You know,
see those.
yeah, those were great, and they have them on streaming too. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? The birds. I grew up watching that as well. That was a classic movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they got class. You just gotta find them. You know what I'm saying? It's like don't like focus too much on, you know what I'm saying, 60s had classics, 70s had classics. You know. Can you hear me, Mike?
You were cutting up.
Okay. Am I clear now, or is it still breaking
You
up?
you're clear now.
Okay. Yeah, so you gotta know like the true classics of the 50s, man.
Yeah, every decade has its trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just how it is.
Oh
But
yeah. There's trash out now. There was trash released this year. Have you all
oh
seen Madam Web? That was garbage.
oh God, I
You
it
know.
and to think, I looked at it and I'm like, when it came out on 4K, it had 4K steelbooks, 4K slip.
Right.
I don't know about this one because I heard bad things about it.
Right. Yeah, like there's been trash that's been released this year. So it's not every decade is gonna have trash, you know,
Hmm.
for sure. But
But
yeah,
I
like
think that,
like those to me are like the best films, like Alfred Hitchcock. Mm,
yeah, Alfred Hitchcock stuff is good.
yeah. Now what you was gonna say?
Um, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say, hell, even like some of the '80s
You started to say
movies.
something.
Yeah, like hell, even some of the '80s movies. Like, I'm not gonna hold you. I would take some of those '80s trash
Mhm.
movies over the ones today. I'm not gonna hold you. I mean,
Oh no.
mm,
Oh no. Yikes. I never liked Short Circuit, and that was an 80s film. So there you
you
go.
didn't
It's
like
like not everything in the 80s was great.
you didn't like Short Circuit.
Nah, I never liked it. I,
I
I
need to
think it
rewatch
was
it.
I think it was more of the robot, like the way that the robot was designed. I didn't care for it.
Hmm.
You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? Like maybe if they rebooted it now and they had like a different look for the robot and a better cast, it would be better. But I never cared for that. And a lot of people love that film.
Yeah, yeah. I know I saw it.
He said, mm, "You saw it?
Wait, you cutting up? I can't hear you.
No, you started to say something,
Oh, Short Circuit. I need to rewatch that. It was a long time ago when I saw it,
right?
and I was just it was like whatever those whatever type movies, but I need to definitely rewatch it.
Mm. Yeah." Kristen said, "Why the '70s black movies had badass titles? I mean that just that's how the era was. Like the lingo was very badass. It was like who could outdo the other one with like the most badass names and shit. You know what you think, Mike?
I mean, I agree because it was just the way the
Why did
title.
yeah that just was the lingo. Like '90s. If you look at a lot of the '90s movies, like it had like references to like the way we used to speak back then. Fat Beach. That was a '90s movie. That's what
Right.
we said back then. Like, yo, we had like the fat tape, from the Source magazine. They had like a section in the Source magazine that had fat tape. They put like all the fattest joints on there. You know, you had Fresh, which is something that we said like late '80s, early '90s, and they made a movie with the same title, Fresh. You know what I'm saying? So that's always been what it was. Like whatever decade we were in, and the lingo for that decade. They, you know, the movies reflected that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep, that's what it was. You know, say Reg is setting up. I gotta send. I forgot to send Reggie the invite too. Cause I don't. He goes by different emails now. I don't. I don't even know where to send him the invite at.
Oh,
He uses different emails. I was gonna wait till he just showed up in the chat and just put it in the chat for him.
yeah.
You know.
Speaking of fresh, I'm gonna rewatch that.
Uh,
It,
have you
I,
seen that?
I saw it a long time ago. I don't remember all of it.
It was okay. It was, again, it wasn't one of my favorites. I think
Yeah,
some of those movies they had like the soundtracks were better. And
right.
I remember Raekwon and Ghost had the Heaven and Hell song from that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Jizza had I Got Your Back. That was from that soundtrack as well. That was also on Liquid Swords.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like I watched it. It wasn't one of my favorites,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but it has a cult following,
Yeah, do.
you know. I do remember like that one scene in the film where like the guy shoots the little girl on the playground.
Yeah.
That part I was shocked to see, you know, in a movie at that time, because I mean like you shooting off like little kids. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
have that too many times in movies, so
True.
that part was like kind of shocking that they even kept that scene in the film.
Right.
You know, even now it's like even in reality we have like little kids getting hurt. You know what I'm saying, and getting
Yep.
shot and all that. So that part was just surprising to see that they kept that scene in that film. But other than
Facts.
that, I mean, it was okay. It wasn't one of my favorite Hood films.
Yeah, I keep hearing good things about it, and it got good reviews. But I mean, I remember seeing it on yeah, back when the UPN they were showing movies in the afternoon on the weekends, and that
Right,
was one of them.
right.
That was one of them I saw.
Oh yeah, definitely. Reggie's coming on now. He's setting up. Definitely. You know, that's way back in the day when like the network stations they didn't have shit else to show on the weekend. They would show afternoon films.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the black and white joints
Yeah.
or karate flicks on Saturday afternoons.
Oh yeah.
You know, and before streaming, before there was a Fire Stick and all that.
Right, for real.
You know, before DVDs and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, those are the days, man. I loved it.
Yeah, I used to record a couple of movies too on
Oh yeah,
VHS.
yeah. Then once I got a VCR, I had like two VCRs, matter of fact. And once I got those, it was a wrap. I was just going to the video store every week.
Oh yeah,
You
same.
know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And you remember like when you go to the video store and you see like the movie posters at the video store, and
Yes.
that always that might have made you, especially as a kid, the iconic movie posters that was out that made you want to see the movie.
Facts. I
You
agree.
know, so when I'm looking at like the movie poster for Back to the Future, that made, well, I was already a Michael J. Fox fan from watching Family Ties,
You're
but
right.
seeing that movie poster, I was like, yo, like I got to see this film. He goes back in time and he sees his mother when he's younger, and then he sees his pops getting bullied by Biff and all. Yo,
Yeah.
that was crazy. You
Yeah.
know,
We def.
and seeing the movie poster for the Terminator, the first one.
Oh yeah.
You know, that was just crazy. So like yeah, like movie posters were everything. Now the movie posters don't even live up to the hype.
Hell no, they suck.
They suck.
They suck. It's like and then the
You know,
trailer. Don't even start with the trailers.
it's the same shit. You know what I mean? It's no, yeah. And then they show too much. They show too much of the movie in the trailers.
They show the ending too much.
You know what I mean? They showing the ending. Yeah. Sometimes the trailer is misleading. You might think that the movie like this, and then you see the movie, and it's like, yo, what happened?
Exactly.
You know,
And then they leave. And then the stuff that they
it's crazy,
put in
man.
the
But you just
trailer.
hit me up, so
Okay. Then the stuff that they put out in the
send me up,
trailer,
man.
they don't. Once you see the movie, they you know you don't even see the scenes from the
Right.
trailer. So some of it's like
Facts.
misleading.
Oh yeah. Facts. Yo, Reg, I sent it. What Christian said? He said, pick one. What's the stupidest thing on B? I don't watch BT, so I couldn't tell you. Could not tell you what they have on there.
Um, BET to
They
me
sent
is
some movies on
trash.
BT. I never watched the movie on BT except for the New Edition and Bobby Brown story. I've never seen no other film on there, so I don't know what they show.
Yeah, they be showing. Well, shoot, mainly they be showing Tyler Perry films mainly. So, uh,
Oh man, yeah, I'm not big on Tyler Perry stuff. You know,
I liked his earlier films, but after a
hmm
while, I checked out.
right? Yeah, like I've seen why did I get married? The one with Janet.
Yeah, that was good.
I saw that one. I saw Daddy was it Daddy's Home? Daddy's Little Girls or something like that.
Daddy's Little Girls, yeah.
Yeah, with Idris Elba and what's her name? Dwayne Wade's wife.
Uh,
Um
with
Gabby
Gabrielle
Union.
Union.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw that. That was good.
yeah,
Um
that was
Alex
good. Yeah,
Alex Cross, I saw Alex Cross. But all that other shit that he's done, I've never watched that stuff. All the Medea films and wasn't a fan. You know what I'm saying? And if we're gonna if it's not just the downfall of Rap City on it, it's like all they programming sucks. Like the programming that they had back in the day, Video Soul, they even tried to bring it back with Donnie Simpson on what was it like on Tubi, I think it was. They tried to bring it back. It wasn't the same.
mm,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? All the stuff that they had that I grew up on, Video Soul and um with the Island was it Island Vibes of Rachel, Rap City, Comic View, all the programming that they had is gone now. It's not the same network. You know what I'm saying? And MTV as well. Like those two networks have fallen off.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell you what they show because I don't watch it. You know, it's like I think that was a time, the golden era, which will never come back. Even if they try to come back with it, it's never gonna be the same. You know, MTV has tried to do that with you know, bringing back at one point Young TV Raps. It wasn't the same. You know, they brought back the Jersey Whores, and
Oh God.
they're all older looking, and they got kids. I'm like, come on, they trying to bring back all these nostalgic shows, and it's not the same.
Right.
Reg, what's good, bro?
Hey,
Yo,
What up?
how y'all doing?
How was the traffic?
Traffic was good, but then it started raining and stuff so like that. So I had to make a pit stop to the ABC store because I was going to do that after, but I don't know how long this rain's going to last because
Right.
I'm about to go clubbing tonight anyway. So fuck it.
Okay.
But yeah, how y'all doing?
I'm good, man. Chilling.
chilling.
Enjoying the summer.
That's what I've been doing too.
Yes.
Ooh,
How was your July 4th?
I was mostly working. I didn't really. I was trying to go to a cookout, but they were trying to sell plates at a cookout. So I was like, fuck that.
Just trying to sell plates at the cookout?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
Wow.
That's bad.
I mean, I don't mind that, but if you're going to sell plates, don't name it a cookout.
Right.
And mind you,
Cast
oh, go ahead.
but no, go ahead.
Mind you, they had it in the back of a restaurant. So
Wow.
Mm.
Interesting. Castellar Daniel Garcia. Salute to you. Subscribe to the channel. I'm almost at 300. I'm doing the giveaway at 300. You might want to check that out. He said Long Legs with Nicolas Cage is stolen. Is Long Legs even out? I don't think that's even out yet.
I think it's in select. I
Oh, it's in
think
select theaters. Okay.
I'm not sure, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. I'm interested in seeing it.
I don't even know what the hell that movie's about. I've seen the trailer and it's very vague about what that movie is about.
Well, they're trying to compare it to Size of the Lambs. They said something
oh
like that.
God, no, no movie can compare to that. I'm sorry.
I know it's a horror,
Yeah.
but yeah, I gotta check that out though. Long Legs.
Okay, StreamYard.
So I check that out. It looks interesting. It looks interesting. Reg Christian said he found a sample for the Freddie Gibbs song.
That's nice.
The Thuggin'. Why are we talking about Freddie Gibbs? He has nothing out right now. Why is that important? Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I was actually about to
Yeah,
say.
Long Legs. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not the biggest Freddie Gibbs fan. No shit. I like him the most is with Madlib. To be real with you.
Same. The stuff to me his best stuff right now is with Alchemist and Madlib. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't have we ever did a review on Pinata?
I think so. I have to double check. I know we did Bandana.
Okay. Bandana was
I have
dope.
to double check. Yeah,
He said it's a sample from the movie The Legend of Nigga Charles. I don't even know that movie. Who's
I
Nigga
never
Charles?
seen that. I never seen that
Never
movie
seen
either.
it, bro. Never seen it. When did that come out in the 50s?
No, it came out in the 70s. I think it was
70s?
70s, mid 70s. That's with Floyd Williamson. I've never seen it either, but it's like a western though. Yeah, Floyd
Yeah,
Williamson, the
never seen it.
western. Floyd
Never seen
Williamson,
it.
the western. Yeah,
Fred
Yeah.
Williamson would just play anything at that time, would he?
yeah.
Right. Basically.
I like him, but I was like, goddamn, nigga play anything, man. I'm like, goddamn.
Right. All right. Let's talk about Cop 4 with starring Eddie Murphy. It was released on Netflix July 3rd, which was on Wednesday, and is directed by Mark Malloy, starring Eddie Murphy as his character Axel Foley. and Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing Bobby Abbott, and Taylour Paige playing Axel's daughter, Jane Saunders. You got Paul Reiser coming back. He played Jeffrey. He was in the original films. You got John Ashton coming back, Bronson Pinchot coming back, Judd Reinhold coming back. Kevin
Yep.
Bacon was casted as the villain for this film. I love Kevin Bacon, great actor.
Facts.
And it's on Netflix now. This movie, we've been waiting for this movie for like 30 years. And it's going through all type of scripts and rewrites and
Really?
yeah. It's I remember hearing about them doing Cop 4 back in the 90s. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? My mom used to work for Paramount Pictures, and I actually went to that red carpet premiere because Paramount they treated their employees great as far as I know, and they gave them discounts on their merch and gave them tickets to the movie. So I went to like a couple of those movies. Like when Blue Chips came out, that was under Paramount. You know, that was starring Shaq when he had just came to the NBA. I went to see that. Adams Family Values, went to see that. Cop 3, went to see that. That was a premiere in New York. And I remember not liking that film in '94. And I actually had the movie posters for all of those films too. And we waited 30 years for a sequel. And it went through all type of rewrites. Brett Ratner, the director for the Rush Hour films, he was attached to this project, and something happened, and he was no longer attached to the project. There was a script for Beverly's Cop in 2009, and in that script, they actually planned on killing off Rosewood's character, and that's how Axel was gonna come back to Beverly Hills to find out who killed his friend Rosewood. That never happened. Went through different again a whole bunch of rewrites and different casting changes. At one point, they wanted Channing Tatum and Tom Hardy, which I actually remember hearing
Oh
about.
God.
Oh
Yes,
God.
that was real. I remember hearing about Tom Hardy and Channing Tatum being a part of this film.
I hate Chatham
And
Tatum.
I want to say I think them casting Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I think that was supposed to be for either Tom Hardy or Channing Tatum. And it never worked out. Channing Tatum went on to do 21 Jump Street, which I thought was a mistake, even though it
Trash.
got it made a lot of money. But I grew up on the OG 21 Jump Street with Johnny Depp and Holly Robinson Pete, and you know, so them turning that into a comedy was like, I didn't think it worked, but it actually did because they made a lot of money and they did the sequel, and it was talk about a spinoff with Men in Black, which I don't see how they could do that, but thank God it never happened. But we have come finally to the release of Cop 4. I'm calling it Cop 4, even though they're not calling it that. It's called Axel Foley, Axel F, which I don't like
It's
the
cop.
title. It could be called Cop 4 because that's what it is. They filmed this during the pandemic in 2022, and I remember them teasing the movie, and they had like the teaser posters out there, and for so long, I used to tell Reggie this also. Like for so long, Eddie had done crap. There's a lot of garbage that he did after Cop 3 going into the 2000s that I felt like his career was done. When he gave us shit like, Meet Dave and, you
Oh
know,
God.
I Spy, Pluto Nash, just a lot of garbage. Metro, I didn't like none of those films. You know what I'm saying? And I think that he did have Nutty Professor 1 and 2. That was great. I actually went to see those in the theater when they came out back in the day. Dr. Doolittle was good. But other than that, his career was dead. And I think what resurrected his career was the Dreamgirls role. And it seemed like after Dreamgirls, that's when he really started to resurrect his career. Dolomite. Somebody had mentioned Dolomite in the chat. I still haven't seen Dolomite. I heard it was
Oh,
good. I'm familiar with Dolomite. I just never seen none of his stuff. but he was like iconic in the '70s and shit. And I will get around to seeing that at some point. But I think the Dreamgirls role that he took really resurrected his career again, and it seemed like he's back now doing good roles, good movies. Like Coming to America 2, I enjoyed it. A lot of people did not care for that sequel, but
Me too.
I thought with the story and with what they had, and that even for that sequel, they went through a lot of scripts, over the years. But I thought it was a decent sequel. I don't think he was the funniest in Coming to America 2. I think that was um Leslie, what's her name? Leslie,
Leslie Jones.
forgot her last name. Leslie Jones. I thought she was funny, and Mike Epps was in there, right? I think he was funny
Yeah,
too in there, huh?
I think so.
Yeah, but I don't think he was the funniest in that. And then they killed off his pops, and he didn't have the iconic scenes with Arsenio. But I thought it was a decent sequel, but a lot of people didn't care for that. But it's been a long time, and and even when they took that hiatus from making like the rated R type of films and stuff, supposedly he wanted to do more family oriented films because his kids were younger at that time. His kids are mostly all his kids are grown up now. So I think it was time for him to come back into doing what he's known for. He's a comedian. He's raunchy. Well, he was raunchy at one point. That's what he was known for. Even back on SNL, and I think this was like a return for him to his franchise that really made him a Hollywood star. And I really can't believe that it actually out because it's just been so long. We've been hearing about a Cop 4, but for to see it actually come out on Netflix, I don't know if Netflix was a right choice. I still feel like it could have been in the theaters. But
Hmm.
what did you all think when you first initially saw the film?
You can start, Mike.
When you talking about when I saw this film,
Yeah, like I mean, like when you heard it was coming out, like what did you? And then the whole thing about it going to directly to Netflix, which I feel like when they say a movie is going directly to Netflix, I mean it's not good enough for the theater, in my opinion. But what did you like initially think when you like first heard about it?
I went into low expectations because it's been about 30 years.
Right,
And with all the rewrites and whoever's attached to direct and getting the actors and stuff, and it's like after a while I kind of gave up on it.
right,
I was like, okay, there's no way in hell that this is gonna come out. So, um, as far as being in theaters, to be on, you know what, it should have because I think it was an insult the fact that it's on Netflix because one, this is a 40th anniversary of the first one.
right,
So I thought that was a kind of an insult. And then two, it was funny too because when I saw the trailer, I somebody mentioned, well, if they put it in theaters, it would be PG-13. I was like, well, no, not necessarily,
right.
because all of them were rated R, and then why would it be PG-13? I don't understand. I don't understand that. So
All right.
like, what would that have to do with anything? So um, I mean, the content in this movie, like the violence, wasn't way over the top. So
Right,
that I was expecting nothing over the top. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So um, yeah, when I saw the trailer, I went into low expectation. I'm like, nah, it's not gonna be as great as part one or you know, but, but at the same time, like I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a chance because I honestly I still think it should have been in theaters. Honestly, just because the first one came out in 40 years ago. So,
Right.
and I guess. maybe Eddie Murphy. I don't know if he has a contract with Netflix because
Yeah, he has one.
a couple of his movies, came on Netflix and stuff.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I think, in my opinion, it should have been. They still should have played it in theaters, and in my opinion. I mean, you could put it on Netflix too, but then at the same time, like, well, that's just, and it's like, well, this could have been like a potential box office draw.
Right.
So it's like not only you put it in on Netflix, but you kind of like, I mean, Paramount, what the hell? Like
And
you
and
could have made money
mhm.
off of this.
and they have their budget was 150 million. So is the movie making that type of money in return?
That's a good question.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not like they couldn't go, hard with the violence because I just saw Jessica Alba's movie was a Trigger Warning. That was violent,
Hmm. Hmm.
and she's not known to be an action star. That was like the first time I seen her in an action movie, and that was violent. You
Right.
know, there's been other from Mother with J Lo. That was a violent action film.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Reg, what did you think when you first heard that this was coming out? Actually,
I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I was actually not surprised it was gonna come out on Netflix because
mm,
I know for a fact that Eddie was had this Netflix deal and everything like that too. With the Dolomite, and then he did that one movie with Lauren London, Jonah Hill,
yeah,
which I forgot the name of the movie at the
New
top.
People. I actually like that one.
I love that movie too. To me,
That
I feel
was
like
funny.
that was the kind of shit Eddie should be doing.
Yes, I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying? He did something else too on that Netflix deal. I forgot what else he did.
He has a Netflix deal, and like part of the deal was Cop 4, and I think Netflix has like they have the right to do a sequel if they wanted to,
Yeah,
you know. So that was part of the Netflix deal.
definitely. So I was not really surprised. Now, in all honesty, whether I thought this movie was gonna be good or not, I'm gonna be real with everybody. I've never actually seen Beverly Hills 3 in full. You know what I'm saying? I've seen bits and pieces.
Mhm.
From what I've seen, I wasn't really too impressed with it. I
Right.
just rewatched Beverly Hills 2. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give my thoughts on that later on this month, but
Yeah.
I just personally felt like, it's like Eddie's like it's like with the whole Coming to America too. I know you like the movie Try. I know you like it, but I did not like it. I felt like that was so overhyped. I felt like it's like the OG cast was good, but then
Mhm.
and Eddie's daughters was good too. But then the guy that played his son, then Leslie Jones, who I was never a fan of.
Right.
No.
I feel like Wesley Snipes was trying to do his best, but even him, he can't even save the movie.
My issue with that was they kill off the dad. Why did they have to kill off the king?
Exactly. And John Amos
That
was
wasn't
making
needed.
the movie too. That's the thing.
Right.
But so I like it's kind of like a mixture with Mike. I had low expectations, but at the same time, I'm not gonna act like I like the Beverly Hills Cop franchise, but a lot of my love mostly came from like the first two movies.
Mhm.
What I'm saying? Most preferably the first movie because like it's been years since I saw the second one. So yeah, I mean, I was just looking at myself like, it's 2024, and we have to really admit how streaming is like the
Right.
go-to. Like streaming is like what straight to DVD movies are now.
Yeah,
I hate to say it,
it
you know
is.
what I'm saying? No matter how glamorous they try to make their movies, I'm just like, now whether this movie should be in theaters, I would not have minded if this was on theaters, especially with the whole success of Bad Boys 4 too.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah,
Right.
yeah, Bad Boys. Oh wow, Bad Boys 4. Wow, okay.
Mhm.
Bad Boys
Yeah.
4, Cop 4. Wow, okay.
Yeah. And
So
you
yeah,
got Rush Hour 4 coming too.
what's next?
Rush Hour 4.
They're actually doing a Rush Hour 4.
Yep.
See, I didn't care for Rush Hour 3.
I didn't like part 3 either.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
They're doing part 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
I heard about that. When they doing that?
that I want to say they're gonna start this year and maybe for next year release, or they're gonna shoot next year for 2026. But yeah, that's already been greenlit.
And they're
That's
doing a
about
Friday
time.
for it too.
Huh?
They're doing a Friday for it too.
Yeah, I heard. Why are you mentioning Friday? What? Come on now.
Everyone's doing four at this point. So four
I
is the
didn't like
magic.
for one, so I'm definitely not gonna be around for four.
You, you bugging.
You know, it's always when you, especially for action films, when you get to like the third film, it becomes either it's gonna be the end of that franchise or it's gonna go on to be shit. Like Die Hard 3 to me should have been a trilogy. I don't like none of the Die Hard films after part 3.
Me neither.
And I
Same.
went to see Die Hard 4 and I left because I remember not liking it. And none of those other Die Hard films were nostalgic to the first three. It was like they just put John McClane in these certain situations, and then they just like Axel, they gave John McClane they put his kids in the movie. I don't think it was good. I think it should have just been a trilogy, and then that's it. Now they can't even do it again because of Bruce Willis' health. You
Right.
know, Lethal Weapon 4 was actually good. Like, and I wasn't a huge Lethal Weapon fan when it first came out, but I remember going to see Part 4 because that came out at the same time as Blair Witch, and that was phenomenal. I thought Chris Rock was hilarious in that film, and Joe Pesci, and they're supposed to do a Part 5. But have you seen Mel Gibson lately?
Uh,
He's not doing his own stunts. They do a Part 5. Danny Glover either.
oh God.
You know what I'm saying? I just saw that movie Boneyard with 50 Cent and Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson looked old in that film.
Oh God. How
So
was
he's
that?
not going to be running around, fighting Jet Li and shit like he was in Part 4.
Oh Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they should do a Part 5 because they definitely going to be using a lot of AI and CGI special effects because they can't be chasing after criminals anymore. And we actually, I think that was an issue with this film too because everybody got older. Even Eddie even said in interviews that he can't do his own stunts no more. You know what I'm saying? Like if you notice, like most the action scenes was with him behind the wheel of a truck or a car. That was the action scenes because he's not running around chasing bad guys like he was in the first two films. You know, but the film basically is about Eddie is still in Detroit. He's coming off a divorce. I wish they had the ex-wife in the film. They only mention her, but we don't get to see her. But he's still in Detroit. His friend Jeffrey, played by Paul Reiser, he's the sergeant now. He's taking over the police force. You know, and Eddie has to go to Beverly Hills because he finds out that his friend Rosewood, Billy Rosewood, played by Judge Reinhold, he's in trouble. His daughter, who's a defense attorney, Jane Saunders, she's in trouble because she's defending this. She has this case, and she represents Enriquez, and he was being framed. Her client was being framed for the murder of a cop, Officer Copeland, and once Axel finds out about that, he goes to Beverly Hills, and his relationship with his daughter is estranged because they haven't spoken in years. He's been a deadbeat dad. And um, they have that tension immediately, and but he's going there to save his friend Rosewood, who Rosewood was always down for whatever with Axel. That's what I always liked about him. It was always Taggart they had to convince to come along, but Rosewood was always down for the shenanigans, and Rosewood is in trouble. The one thing that I didn't like about this film, we don't actually see Rosewood through the whole film. He's only in it for like the
Yeah.
first 5 minutes, and then we see him at like maybe the last 10 to 15 minutes of the film. So he's not in the whole film, and I think we don't get to see that those shenanigans like we're used to seeing with Rosewood and Axel. And that was the main glaring issue I had with this film. There's no Rosewood in the film. Like we get to see Taggart. Taggart is he's also a police sergeant now. He's taking over his force in Beverly Hills, and he's basically behind the desk now. So he's not out there with his shotgun running around like we used to see. Even though we did see that at the end of the film, but he's a sergeant now, so he has to take over the force. And we have Gordon Joseph Levitt, who played Bobby Abbott. He was like the young detective. We had a relationship before with Axel's daughter, Jane, and they separated. They didn't really get into why they separated. It was more like she left him, and I know he had referenced that to her, like, oh well, you're like your dad. You just pick up and leave or whatever. And so they didn't. I wish they had expanded more on their past relationship. They didn't really do that. And so Bobby is part of the Belial's department that Taggart is now taking over. And Kevin Bacon plays like the dirty cop, and he's like the villain of this film. But even with his character, like, I knew he was the villain because he normally plays a villain in a lot of his films, but we didn't get to see him a lot in this film either. You know what I'm saying? And I think I understand why they did that, because of, like, I don't really want to say it's because of the age thing, because there's been films where you have an older cast, but they knew what to do with the older cast. If you look at a movie like Dirty Grandpa with Robert De Niro
Oh,
and Zac Efron, that movie was hilarious. Just the type of hijinks and stuff that they were doing in that film, and it made like over $100 million. That was a hilarious film. If you look at a movie like Las Vegas, it had an older cast with Morgan Freeman and Robert De Niro again, Michael Douglas, and that was like the senior citizen version of Girls Trip. If you seen Girls Trip, that was a funny movie. This was Las Vegas was like the senior citizen version of that, and that was hilarious, and that made like 130 million. So I don't want to put it all on the age thing, and oh well, it's their age, and that's why they did certain things. But in reality, when you look at this film, like I said, like, Eddie can't do his stunts no more. So he's not running around with his gun and chasing criminals throughout Beverly Hills. They have to do creative scenes with them when it comes to the action. That's why you had like him behind the trucks for most of the movie, and those were like the action scenes with him. Either he was chasing people or he was running away from somebody, just like he did in the first two films. You know what I'm saying? But they have to do it creatively because he's not running around doing his own stunts no more. You know what I'm saying? And it's even worse for Rosewood and Taggart's character because they look old in the film. You know what I'm saying? If you look at what's his name? John Ashton and Judge Reinhold, they look old in the film, and they were wearing makeup, so you can imagine how they look without the makeup.
oh boy.
And those are like the glaring issues I noticed for this film, like while I was watching it. Um, I do feel like we still get Eddie. I think Eddie is still funny. He still gave me that Axel Foley Beverly Hills Cop nostalgia with his character. It was good to see him back in the Detroit Lions varsity jacket. He did take it off for a minute though. He did switch to another jacket during the middle of the film, and then he switched back to the Detroit Lions jacket, which I didn't understand. But he was good. Taylour Paige, who I've seen in other films, she was good as his estranged daughter Jane Saunders. She switched her last name, because she didn't have that connection with her dad. Um, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I liked his character as Bobby Abbott, and he was playing like the younger detective of the Beverly Hills department, and I think, like I said, like, I think they purposely casted him because they wanted a younger detective with Axel, who was like the older veteran. He knew the history of what he did. With the police force out in Beverly Hills, and I think they did that purposely just in case they wanted to set up future sequels. But the thing is, I think they waited too long to do this sequel to the point where I don't like as a fan of the franchise, I don't think you can continue to do future sequels of this franchise with the same characters. I think Rosewood and Taggart, if they do a part five, they shouldn't be in part five. They should be like part four should be the last one because at this point it's like what else could you what at, for their age what nobody it's not going to be believable to see their characters running around Beverly Hills chasing bad guys. You know what I'm saying? It's like it would have been if they had did this sequel back in the 90s and then they had a part five and a part six. I would have been like, yeah, they can do future sequels with those characters. If they move on to do a part five, they can't bring them back. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they could show a cameo. You have a cameo of Rosewood and Taggart is the police sergeant. You could always, show him at the precinct. But actually being out there chasing bad guys with Axel, I wouldn't bring them back for part five. And I think that's why they set up, that I think that's why they casted the younger detective. He had a previous relationship with Axel's daughter. You can bring them back for part five, and then you have them like get back together. They get married. Jane gets pregnant, and then Axel's about to be a grandfather while he's out there in Beverly Hills this time, and he's causing chaos like he usually does. I think that would be the premise for a part five, but because they waited so long, like 30 years for a sequel, I think the characters are too old now. I wouldn't even bring back Judge Reinhold and John Ashton. You know what I'm saying? But I thought it was good for the stunt the action scenes. It wasn't a lot of action scenes, but when you had the action scenes, they were okay. And again, I think they did that because of the age thing with Eddie, and he's older now. He can't do those stunts like he used to. So they had to be creative with the action scenes, and they were good. They were okay. They wasn't the best compared to the first two cop films. You know, I would have liked, like I said, I would have liked to a more backstory with Bobby and Jane's past relationship. I would have liked more info on why they broke up, and even with the ex-wife, they only mentioned the ex-wife, but we didn't get to hear from her. Like a phone call with her on the phone would have been good, or seeing like a picture of her. We didn't get none of that. You know, Kevin Bacon's character was okay. He was like a dirty cop, but we didn't. I didn't see. We didn't get like that. Well, I don't know. At this point, he's old. He's old too, and I know he wants to do. He mentioned he wants to do Freddy Krueger. If you can't do stunts in
Oh
Beverly
God.
Hills, how the fuck are you gonna do Nightmare on Elm Street?
Oh God. He wants to
You know
do
what I'm
that?
saying? That's the rumor that Robert Englund he's gonna retire from that role and he wants to pass it on to Kevin Bacon. But you gotta actually do stunts for Freddy Krueger. You gotta actually be chasing young teenagers for that type of role. So if he can't do stunts in Cop 4, how is he gonna do Freddy Krueger? You know what I'm saying? So and he's a good actor. I could see him taking on the role, even though I don't want him to do it, because for me, Robert Englund will always be Freddy Krueger. But if they had to pick somebody, I could see Kevin Bacon taking on that role, and he wants to do it, but he has to do his own stunts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be believable unless you're gonna have like a AI Freddy Krueger running around Elm Street.
Oh God.
You know what I'm saying? So he was okay. I wanted to see like a fist fight or something, some type of interaction with him and Axel. Even though that's not Axel's thing, we don't see Axel Foley get into like fist fights and stuff like that. His weapon is his gun, and we had that showdown at the end with him and Kevin Bacon's character, and I don't want to give everything away for people that you see like Christian, but I wanted to see more interaction physically between Kevin Bacon and Eddie. We didn't get that. You know what I'm saying? But I thought the film it did bring back nostalgic vibes for me. You know, for this franchise, it was a decent sequel. It wasn't the best sequel. I will say it was better than part three. I never liked part three. The whole thing with the amusement park, and I didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? So I will say it was better than part three for me, and it was a decent, reintroduction to the Axel Foley character. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like moving forward, if they do a part five, what I just said about I wouldn't bring back Taggart and Rosewood. I would just have it with Axel, and you bring back Bobby, and you bring back Jane, and they could figure out a storyline around them. But but like for the diehard Beverly Hills Cop fans, a movie without Taggart and Rosa is gonna be like, who's gonna watch it? You know what I'm saying? But I think realistically, for them to continue the franchise, I wouldn't bring back Taggart and Rosewood. I would just have them in a cameo. I wouldn't have them like in the for the whole film. And maybe that's why they did that with Rosewood's character. You don't really see him in this film. But what did y'all think about the movie?
Um, did you want to go first, Reg, or you want me?
You can go first, boss.
All right. All right. So, all right. Now you did mention Rosewood's character. That's one thing I didn't like about the film, that you didn't see a lot of him in it.
Right.
You saw him for the first 5-10 minutes, and then again, within the last 10-15 minutes. Um, it was nice to see Eddie Murphy back in that, stepping back into that role.
Mhm.
I thought he did fine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I thought he was good there. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which I've always liked as an actor. I thought he was solid in this movie too.
Yeah.
Um, the actress,
Taylor
what
Page.
is it? Taylor Page,
Yeah.
yeah. I saw her in another movie. She was good in that too. I think it was called Lola. I think.
Zola.
Um,
She was in Zola.
Zola,
Yeah. She was
Zola,
good in Zola.
Zola. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She was good in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's good here. Kevin Bacon. It's funny because he's in Cop 4, and the first Beverly Hills Cop and Footloose came out that same year, and they were box office hits. So
Right.
that was kind of funny to that. Yeah. He was good, but he just wasn't. He I, like he wasn't really menacing. I don't know. He was good, but it's just it was just, I didn't he was good, but at the same time I didn't really I did it was his character. I didn't really believe as like a dirty cop,
Right.
so to speak. So his character could have been just a little bit more menacing.
Uh-huh.
But what else? John Ashton, nice to see him back, in this movie, in this role. And Bronson Pinchot, it's nice to see him back in there, Paul Reiser. Um, as far as the action, I don't without giving it away, but the shootout scene I thought was okay. I thought, and once I paid close attention to it, kind of looked it didn't look it was the shootout scenes wasn't really convincing to me.
Right.
It just looked so low budget. It looked like a Lionsgate film. I'm watching a straight to Blu-ray Lionsgate film, and I'm
Right.
like, whoa, no, that's one of my biggest pet peeves too. And it's
Mhm.
like, if you're gonna go all out, then at least make it look realistic. But no, they just made it look so low budget.
Uh,
But yeah, Eddie Murphy, yeah, he can't do like he used to. He can't do his own stunts. Let's just call it for what it is. And um it was a good movie, but I wouldn't put it it's like the best movie of the year. They just waited way too long,
Yeah.
and 40 years, after the first one, um, and then we had to wait 30 years, with all the rewrites and all that stuff. I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, they kind of waited too long and didn't like the fact it was on Netflix. Didn't really care for the fact that it was on Netflix. Should have been in theaters, but it is what it is.
And Kevin Bacon's character was Captain Grant. He played the dirty cop. But like you said, like Victor Maitland and Maxwell Dent from those were the villains in 1 and 2. They were more villainous than Captain Grant, in my opinion.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't see enough dirtiness. Like he basically had his henchmen do his dirty work.
Right.
When you watch part one, Victor Maitland was in it. Like
Yeah.
you knew he was the villain. He did dirty shit. Same thing with Maxwell Dent and Bridget Nielsen when she played Carla Fry.
Right.
They were the villains. They shot the Lieutenant Andrew from the first movie. Like
Yeah.
they almost tried to kill him. Like they did dirty shit.
Facts.
Captain Grant, he wasn't on their level to me as far as like villain. If we have to like rate the villains of this franchise, it's still Victor Maitland and then Maxwell Dent and Carla Fry.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? But he was okay, but I just felt like he could have done more.
I agree. He could have done a lot more, and he just wasn't meant. Kevin Bacon's a good actor. Don't get me
Hmm.
wrong, but he just
Yeah.
wasn't. And I've seen more menacing roles from Kevin Bacon, but
Yes.
this was just too tamed
Yeah.
to me. And like I mentioned earlier, the Beverly Hills Cop franchise is, the violence is not, not that strong, but um, this one, it even some of the jokes on there, like, to me, it was kind of sort of a little bit too PC. It wasn't hard edge enough
Right.
for my liking. So while I could easily say that I liked the film, I put it up there with um I put it over Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Yeah. It was
But
better to me.
yeah, but it the first one is always gonna be the best one,
Hmm.
in my opinion. I liked the second one, but not as good. To me, it wasn't as great as the first one. But I mean, if I had to put them in order, I would put the first, second, and the fourth. You
Right.
know, that would be like my order. But this was a good film, and I didn't go into high expectations because I knew it wasn't gonna be as great. And
Right.
then I liked how they brought back some of the old music. I like
Yes.
that. I like that.
That was
I like
great.
that.
That was great.
A
Definitely.
couple a couple of songs I did not care for.
Hmm.
That they It was one song in particular that stood out, which I didn't care for.
Little Nas X.
They huh
The Little Nas X song.
uh yeah,
Yeah, because
that was one of them.
he has that's the first single from the soundtrack is the Little Nas X song.
Yeah, that was one of them. I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't
Yeah.
care for it.
I forgot to mention I did love the fact that they brought back like the original score and the Pointer Sisters Neutron Dance. They even threw in Mary J. Blige Family Affair. I
Yeah,
love that. Always love that song that Dr. Dre produced song for Mary. And they played the Lil Nas X single on the soundtrack. So
yeah.
they doing some new and you still got some old. I expect them to do that though.
Hmm.
Reg, what did you think about the movie?
I personally thought the movie was pretty decent.
Hmm.
it was very action packed, very fast paced as well too.
Right.
It was nice seeing Eddie reprise as well as Axel. I love his chemistry with Jordan Ghost, Joseph Gordon Levitt. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his last name, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I did love the chemistry. I was mostly intrigued with the relationship with him and his daughter. I wish they would have focused a bit more or gave it a bit more equal balance as well too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I haven't seen like the Beverly Hills Cop 3, but just judging from these reviews, I can already tell a lot of people like this better than Cop 3. I do like the fact that they brought back the '80s music and everything. I love the directing, the cinematography, and everything too. So
Hmm.
this is a pretty dope movie.
What's your rating for it? Like on a scale of 1 to 10?
7.
I give it a 7 too.
I give it a 7.5
Oh, okay. What's the point five for?
because they brought back the some
The
of the
music?
songs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, like it's much better than part three. I don't know anybody that actually liked part three, but I do feel like it was, if they, like I said, if they're gonna um continue to do more sequels, they got to do it now. Don't We can't wait another 30 years because Eddie gonna be way too old to do that. The supporting cast is gonna be gone. So if they plan on doing a part five, I would like to hear them actually announce, like from Netflix, like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and greenlit part five. We're gonna start production next year for a 2026 release. Because anything after 2026, if they mention, oh, it's gonna come out in 2028, I don't think it's gonna be good. I think they gotta strike now while the iron is hot, and they gotta do a part five. And part five, really, I would make part five the last one. They don't need to do a six and a seven and an eight. I think part five should be the last one. You end it off, as a thank you to the fans for supporting this franchise for the last 40 years. This year will be 40 years for the first one, for Cop One, and that's how I would end it. You know what I'm saying? I would end it off with part five, and it still gave me, like, Eddie Murphy's still a great actor. He's still funny. It was good to finally see him back in one of his OG roles that made him a superstar. And I thought it was a decent sequel. Now, I don't know. I think it's too early to say if it's going to be one of the best movies of the year. But I do feel like it was a nice, decent sequel, and it had some issues with it, mostly because of the age thing and the stunts, and not having Rosewood in it for most of the film. I think that's a major thing. 'Cause I think if he was in it for the whole film, we still could have gotten that, that chemistry, that funny comedic chemistry between him and Eddie, and we didn't get that, unfortunately. But I did like Taylour Paige as the daughter. I think she's a good actress. I've seen her in a couple of movies. She was also in the Kendrick film video for what's the name of that song? The joint that he did from his last album about domestic violence.
We belong together.
Yeah, she was the girlfriend in that video. And I saw in a movie called Boogie, and that was like about like an Asian basketball player. She was like the girlfriend for like the Asian ball player. Pop Smoke was actually in that film to him. Is also rest in peace to Pop Smoke. So I've seen it in other things. She's a good young up and coming actress. And Zola was a good film as well. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and everybody knows him from Third Rock from the Sun when he was younger. He's been in one of the Batman films, the Nolan trilogy. He's good. I liked his performance. I liked his casting. Like I said, I would bring both of them back. If they do a part five, I would bring him back. I would bring Taylor back, and you just have like the three of them. You make a story around their characters, and you keep Axel this time in Beverly Hills. You don't have him go back to Detroit. You keep him in Beverly, because we never seen Axel stay in Beverly Hills. Like we always seen him in Detroit, and he went out there. But you actually keep him in Beverly Hills this time, and just let him do his thing. And I think that's what I would go with for part five. But I think that should be the last one. I don't think I can't see him doing a part 6 and a part 7, and you know what I'm saying. He has other things on his plate too. He's talking about going back to doing Shrek.
Oh
They're doing
God.
another Shrek film as well. So yeah. So I thought it was decent. I will give it a 7 out of 10. And for people that love this franchise that haven't seen it, check it out. Let me know in the comments if you liked it, if you watched it already. What did you think? Should they do a part 5? Should they end it off with part 4? This was a great review. Thank you, Reg and Mike. What y'all got coming up?
I know.
Um, Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I know tomorrow at midnight I'm coming back with the Waquan only bill for my Cuban Links 2 review.
Yes. Oh, Mike, what you got?
I gotta drop a Walmart out and about video that I did yesterday, so I have to drop that, and
Nice.
I might do a Target out and about video.
You got some new pickups?
I got quite a few, and then if hopefully if the stars align right after this live stream, I'm going to Target to look for a Southern movie that's also getting a 40-year treatment.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
yep, hopefully if
Shin
Target has it, must buy.
Shin Batman 84 said Kevin Bacon catching his breath while chasing after Gen Z kids that can't seem as Freddy. Hey, that supposedly that's the choice that they have for the Nightmare reboot. If and when they do it, it's supposed to be him. I can't see him chasing teenagers either, but we'll see. Maybe they have somebody else in mind. Um, but thank you for that, Shin Batman. Subscribe to the channel. I'm doing a giveaway when I hit 300 subs. It's a long time coming. Um, and it's just a thank you to my day ones, including Reg and Mike, who's been here from day one with me, and Eric and Kaveh, so many others, and I've won so many giveaways on other people's platform that I want to have my own giveaway on my platform and give back to the day one. So when I hit 300, I'm doing a giveaway. Hopefully, if I get to 600 and 900, I'll do giveaways for them for those as well. And it's not gonna be no cheap bullshit out. It's gonna be like some fly shit. You know what I'm saying? That's how we do over here. So subscribe to the channel, like, comment, and share. Let me know what y'all think about the Beverly's Cop franchise. We're gonna do the first 3 on Reg's channel. That's coming up. Is it this month we're doing that, or is that in August?
Doing what again?
The first 3 Beverly's Cop movies.
That's this month.
Oh, this month? Okay. So subscribe to Reg's channel. We're gonna be talking about the first 3 Beverly's Cop movies on his channel. And if people haven't watched part 4, you can watch the trilogy review that we do for that, and then come over here and watch the review that we did for Cop 4. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody that showed up, Kristen and Castellar, Daniel Garcia. Subscribe to the channel, and Shin Batman. And thank you, Mike and Reg, as always. Appreciate you all, man.
Thank you for inviting me, Troy.
Yeah,
No
thanks a
doubt.
lot.
All right, man. We
All
out.
right,
Uh,
Peace.
peace.